In the year 1623, on a silent, moonless night inside Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, a 48-year-old woman named Kösem Sultan walked slowly through the dim imperial corridors. In her hands, she carried a document sealed with her own authority, an order that would permanently alter the fate of one of the most powerful empires in history. The command was chillingly simple: the execution of her own son, Sultan Mustafa. Kosem did not become the Sultan's mother by chance. 3 decades earlier, she had entered the palace not as royalty, but as property. At the age of 15, she was captured from a Greek village and sold in the slave markets of Constantinople for 30 gold coins. That same woman, once traded like an object, would later be worth more than all the gold of the empire combined, because Kosem uncovered the true secret of the Ottoman Imperial Harem, a secret protected for nearly 400 years. The harem was not a paradise of pleasure. It was a brutal political machine, where enslaved women fought for survival, power, and influence, and where mothers sometimes destroyed their own children to stay alive. What truly happened behind those golden walls was so dark that even the Ottomans themselves tried to erase it from history. Before continuing, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching from? Because what comes next will completely change what you think you know about the Ottoman Empire. At the end of the video, leave a comment with your country or city. Most people imagine the imperial harem as films portray it: beautiful women reclining on silk cushions, eating grapes, dancing in endless luxury. That image is false. It was created by 19th century European painters who never stepped inside the harem, and later reinforced by the empire itself to project elegance and control. The truth was very different. The imperial harem was a prison. A luxurious one, but a prison nonetheless. No woman left unless the Sultan allowed it. Located inside Topkapi Palace, the harem consisted of over 400 rooms, connected by maze-like corridors. At its height, it housed between 500 and 1,000 women at once. Yet here's a fact few people know. Out of hundreds of women, only a handful ever saw the Sultan, and only 10 to 15 would ever share his bed. The rest lived in silence, prisoners without crimes, slaves without hope, existing only on the possibility that one day they might be chosen, and most never were. Women entered the harem in 3 main ways. Political tribute. Noble families from conquered lands sent daughters as offerings to secure alliances or avoid execution. Slave markets. Professional traders purchased exceptional girls and sold them to palace agents. War captives. Women taken after Ottoman conquests, used both as rewards and humiliation for defeated enemies. Kosem arrived through the third path. She was the daughter of a Greek Orthodox priest from the island of Tinos. In 1605, Ottoman raiders destroyed her village, killed her father, and captured her along with dozens of young women. Chained and transported to Istanbul, she was noticed at the slave market, not only for her beauty, but for her intense gaze. She was purchased for 30 gold coins and taken directly to the imperial harem. She would never see the outside world again. Unlike most women, Kosem refused to become invisible. Upon arrival, her identity was erased. Her name was changed. Her clothing replaced. Her past eliminated. She began at the lowest rank, sleeping in communal rooms, owning nothing. Her training was relentless: language, etiquette, music, embroidery, obedience. But palace records reveal the truth. This training was violent. Women who failed were beaten. Those who resisted were isolated or sold away. Silence and fear ruled everything. The harem functioned on strict hierarchy. At the top stood the most powerful woman of all, the Valide Sultan, the Sultan's mother. She decided who lived, who rose, and sometimes who died. To reach that position, a woman had to give birth to a son, and that son had to survive conspiracies, poisonings, and executions. The harem was not romance. It was war, fought with secrets, alliances, and murder. Kosem understood this quickly. Instead of relying only on beauty, she built relationships, especially with the palace eunuchs, the true gatekeepers of power. By the time she was summoned to Sultan Ahmed's chambers, she was ready. She offered not just desire, but intelligence, strategy, and counsel. Ahmed fell deeply under her influence. She bore him multiple children, securing her protection and authority. When the Sultan died young, Kosem did what no woman had done before. She stayed. Her son ascended the throne while still a child, and Kosem became Valide Sultan, effectively ruling the empire from behind palace walls for decades. But power in the harem always demanded blood. In 1651, after years of conspiracies and rivalries, Kosem was betrayed by her own family. One night, palace guards dragged her from her hiding place and strangled her with a curtain, inside the very chambers where she had lived, ruled, and survived for nearly half a century. Official records claimed she died of natural causes. Everyone inside the palace knew the truth. In the harem, there was no natural death, only survival or elimination. Kosem changed history. She proved that even an enslaved woman could rule an empire. But for hundreds of other women, nameless, forgotten, the harem offered no power, only silence. One palace record lists a woman simply as slave number 284. She entered at 16. Spent 47 years inside. Never saw the Sultan. Never had a child. Died without a name. That was the reality for most. The Imperial Harem officially ended in 1909. The last women were freed, many with nowhere to go. Today, Topkapi Palace is a museum. Tourists admire the beauty. Guides speak of luxury. But they rarely mention the cages, the madness, the forgotten women. Because the truth doesn't sell souvenirs. So I'll leave you with this question. How many other palaces hide stories like this? How many voices are still buried in forgotten archives? Tell me where you're watching from. And if you believe these stories deserve to be told, subscribe, because we will continue uncovering the truths history tried to bury.